WICR's AB Sports Conversation with Anthony Carlo and Benzino the Hero.
Gotta give credit where credit is due. Can't give credit to Eli Manning because Eli Manning doesn't stop throwing interceptions. Not even interceptions. They're the ugliest interceptions.
They're overthrows. He's doing it on purpose sometimes.
It looks like it.
That's picked off by Seattle Maxwell. Oh, man, what an interception. The fourth of the day for Eli Manning.
It's a different part of the offense. When Carmelo Anthony's at the power forward position, he has more room to operate because even though bigger players are on him, he can just shoot over them. He's faster than bigger players in the league.
So that's what makes Carmelo Anthony special.
Yes.
Special. He's a special player because not everybody can do that.
In the hands of Anthony. Anthony for three. Puts it in! That's by one with 8.2 remaining!
But you know what's going to shock the world is if somebody comes closer to the Yankees. No, I don't think he's going to hesitate that much or just leave him. Think he may just leave?
Nah, he's going to stay.
Robinson Cano has agreed to sign with the Mariners.
Just fortunately for the Giants, they were on the winning end of the sloppy game.
They were less of a slob on the dinner table.
Listen to this.
The Giants were less of a slob than the Raiders were at the dinner table, and the dinner table was the football field.
I don't know how you do it. I don't understand. You come up with these things off the top of your head.
On the spot.
A-Rod and Jeter both brought in more fan excitement. There was always more of a buzz.
1-2. He loops out to left field. Going to be a tough play. Jeter on the run. Makes the play. Wow. And flies into the stands. Oh, what a play by Derek Jeter.
You know how excited I am?
I know. I could see it in your face.
I'm more excited than a caterpillar on the day turning into a butterfly. That's how excited I am for the Knicks coming back.
And we are sitting here, two legends of the trade. Sports broadcasting is what we do.
That's what we do, man.
Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Sports debating, even got Skip and Steve and Nate hating. Just two dudes from the 914 talking about high school, baseball, and so much more. So tune in and don't be loony. Now let's get to the action like a Tom Cruise movie. Yeah, with your host Anthony Carlo and Benzino the Hero. Let's go.
Good morning and welcome everybody to, what is this? Is this the morning show?
This is the morning. AB Conversation in the morning?
This is AB Conversation in the morning right now. I don't think we've ever treaded these waters before.
It's new territory for us.
This is new territory. We are, I'm surprised I'm not asleep right now. Because,
me too.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like, I'm actually very tired.
When do we usually have our show? 6:15 on a Monday night?
6:15, yes, exactly. Mondays at 6:15 p.m. And, you know, I guess we had to switch it up this week.
We had to switch it up.
Monday was there was an event here going on, and we couldn't come in here and do our show, which broke my heart.
Yes.
But the main thing is that we're here now.
Correct.
And also, the main thing is the fact that it's snowing out.
It snowed last night.
Why did it snow? Please, somebody tell me why it snowed.
I don't know.
You can't.
Did the Cubs win the World Series?
There you go. That's a good. We're starting early with the analogies.
Yes.
Listen, you can't set me up with 3 straight days of nice weather. You can't put the sun out there. Not even okay weather. We're talking about beautiful days.
No jacket, no heavy jacket.
80-degree weather.
Correct.
80-degree weather. And then come up with a day where it's freezing. It dropped down to 35 degrees.
I couldn't find. I get driven here, and I couldn't find the little scraper thing, so I had to run into my house, grab a broom, use the end of the stick, and gravel off chip the ice.
Man, I hate that. You see?
Yeah.
Look, I'm not a. You know how some people hate the winter? They're like, I'm not a winter person. I'm going to Florida for the winter.
Yes.
I'm a. What do they call them? Something birds? I don't know. There's a nickname.
Know.
But anyway, I'm not somebody who despises the winter, but I certainly don't like waking up to ice and snow after just coming off of a couple of days where, it was basically
gorgeous
summer.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we're in spring right now. Mm-hmm. On today, April 16th.
Yeah, April 16th is certainly spring.
Yes.
And even though baseball belongs to spring, one thing that I guess reaches its height, if you will, is the NBA.
The NBA.
The springtime is where the NBA playoffs take place.
Correct.
Or the finals.
Yes.
So, we, for you, have a special show today because Ben and I will be talking about our thoughts on the NBA playoffs.
Yes.
We'll be giving you our analysis on some of the events we expect to occur.
Yes.
Then we're going to move on to some baseball and maybe some controversy with instant replay.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll finish off, since it's morning time, with a nice little game to wake everybody up, even though my voice probably is waking everybody up. And that's called Put Your Team Where Your Mouth Is.
Correct.
Ben, you want to remind everybody what that is again?
Put your team where your mouth is. Anthony is a Yankee aficionado. I am a Knick aficionado. And we'll go head-to-head, ask each other trivia questions, and see what we know about our respective teams.
Simple as that. Okay, so why don't we start with the NBA? What do you want to start with?
Knicks took that dub last night against the Brooklyn Nets. Even though the Knicks are not in the playoffs anymore, I'm not going to talk about what happened over the Knicks season. I'm going to save that for another show. But as of right now, the Knicks did beat the Brooklyn Nets last night. And I'll take the W, 3 in a row.
I know. Ben, as we said, I said this a lot, but Ben is a very, very passionate Knicks fan, and I respect him because no matter if they win, they lose, they're out, they're not out. Right now, if the Yankees were out of the playoffs and it was coming down to the last regular season games, I'd be mad as hell.
Yes.
I'm sorry. If they won, I would laugh because I would say, you know what, you should have won a month ago when you needed to. But Ben, he's very optimistic. If the Knicks aren't in, they had a bad year, he's still representing the W. You got to give him credit. You got to give him credit.
And the score of that game was 109 to 89.
Right.
A blowout, you could say. The Knicks, Iman Shumpert put Paul Pierce on skates. He floored him with a crossover. Might have been a little push-off, but hey, he made the highlight reel.
Yeah, well, there you go.
And Torrey Murray to Iman Shumpert off the backboard. Looking like Dunk City out there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate though that the Knicks couldn't. I mean, respectively, it's the end of the season.
Yes.
Who knows if the Nets are really, in there to win things. But obviously they're trying to win since they need to finish strong. But what I'm saying is it's too bad that the Knicks didn't do more of that during the season.
It could have been a meaningful game last night, but
it could have been.
Overall, it hasn't.
It
wasn't.
Could have been a fight over New York for the 8th seed. Could have been, but
that didn't happen. Paul Pierce eclipsed 1,000 points for 15 straight seasons. So Mr. Paul Pierce getting it done, 15 straight year, veteran, future Hall of Famer. So Paul Pierce did his thing, and he's getting ready for the playoffs.
Speaking of the playoffs, the Nets on this day, right now, they're projected to play somebody.
Yes.
On this day.
Okay.
Tell us what that projection is.
If it's projected, as we said today, April 16th, they will be projected to play the Chicago Bulls.
Chicago Bulls. So right now, let's lay out for everybody, right now, the teams that will be in the playoffs.
Okay.
How about we do that?
Yeah.
Because, it's difficult to break down game by game because we don't know game by game yet. So we can save that. But let's lay out what teams are going to be in the NBA playoffs.
All right.
So we could start with
the Eastern Conference.
Indiana, Atlanta, Miami, Charlotte, Toronto, Washington,
Brooklyn,
and I missed one.
The Chicago Bulls.
The Chicago Bulls, and that is the East. Now tell us the West.
The West, we consist of the Spurs, Thunder, Clippers, Grizzlies, Mavericks, Golden State, and the Portland Trail Blazers.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Let's begin in the East. What if you could give me one team that gives you kind of a shock or a little bit of a, when you touch a spark, you touch a plug and it shocks you, something like that. What team in the East gives you that when you look at them going into the postseason? What is that initial team that you say, wow, they have a good shot to win this all? Who is that for you?
That team would be the Chicago Bulls for me.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
The Chicago Bulls.
Really? Wow, that's a big one.
The Joakim Noah led Chicago Bulls.
MVP candidate Joakim Noah.
MVP candidate Joakim Noah.
That is it. I mean, I respect your choice because a lot of people would probably, well, I don't know how many people would say Indiana, but a lot of people would say Miami.
Yes.
A lot of people would probably still say Indiana. But I'd say the Bulls probably is a good choice.
Have a reasoning for that to explain myself?
Absolutely.
The Chicago Bulls have been on a tear second half of the season. They've been top of the East after the All-Star break and wins. They've done that. They acquired DJ Augustine through the year, and Anthony mentioned a spark. He sparked that team up.
Yeah.
No Derrick Rose and aging Kirk Hinrich. You need a young guy coming in, and that's what DJ Augustine did. Plus the play of Taj Gibson off the bench.
Oh, yeah.
And Joakim Noah's emergence.
Oh, yeah. And now think about this. They did this all without D. Rose.
Yes.
Imagine how they could have been with D. Rose.
That would have been scary.
Probably a sure-in championship contender.
Yes.
But now they made do with what they had, and which was not a bad team at all.
Not a bad team at all.
A big part of it, though, as you said, was Joakim breaking out and
Yes.
really just taking control of that team. But now they find themselves in a contending spot. I mean, one of the best teams in the East. But you spoke about how Augustine was a spark plug for Chicago. How about Brooklyn and how Thornton coming over in that deal was a spark plug for them?
Marcus Thornton. As we said on previous shows, he was acquired at the trade deadline from the Sacramento Kings, and coming to a new team midway through the season, you might not get along with people, but on the court, Marcus Thornton's dropping points like it's nothing. So with that being said, he emerged as a catalyst off the bench for the Brooklyn Nets, and that helped them for the playoff push.
So that is my lead-in to who my team is going to be, my kind of my wow team going into the playoffs. Now, I know I could easily pick the Heat or the Pacers, but I'm not. I'm picking the Brooklyn Nets. That is my team going into the postseason. Now, I know that you look at the rest of the teams. But besides the Indiana and Miami, you have Atlanta, who finished 37-44. Nothing scares me about them.
That's a below 500 record, by the way.
Absolutely, and it's amazing that in the NBA you can make the playoffs with a below 500.
Yes.
The Bobcats, 42-39. Obviously they have talent with Al Jefferson.
They're winning one game in the playoffs. I'll give them one game.
One game?
I'll give him one game.
Okay.
Al Jefferson did his thing.
Al Jefferson's, I think he's the rock of that team.
And he just got over to that team during the free agency. So
Yeah.
Charlotte wanted Al Jefferson at the start of the season. They got him during the offseason, and now look what he did for the team. He's a big reason they're in the playoffs.
Exactly. That's what I mean. He's carried that team a lot of the time.
Yes.
When you look at, let's say, the Raptors. Now, somebody might say, hey, you're picking Brooklyn over the Raptors? I mean, the Raptors are a good team.
Yes.
Between, DeMar DeRozan and
Kyle Lowry.
Your man, Kyle Lowry.
I like DeMar more, personally.
Yeah.
But Kyle Lowry did his thing.
Exactly. They all did their thing because they finished. Right now, they're 48-33. So, I mean, obviously, they had a solid year. And then you have the Washington Wizards, who are 43-38. Obviously, John Wall, the key guy on that team.
Bradley Beal,
absolutely. And then the Bulls, as you picked, and the Nets. So, out of all those teams, Indiana, obviously, we talked about them a lot.
Yes.
They're a team that's interesting to talk about because Roy Hibbert's cooled down considerably.
Yes.
And the team has fallen apart in the sense that they're at each other's throats. They're not playing well together as a team. So, can they turn it around going into the playoffs?
They have to. They've been talking all this junk this year. Oh, we got to play the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals. But what happens if you don't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals? You got to play now. It's a new season.
Exactly. Now it's a new season. Now, one thing that people have said is that they keyed in too much on the Miami Heat all year.
Correct.
And they forgot about winning other games.
Yes.
And that hey, you can't argue it. Sometimes you realize that they want so bad to unseat the Miami Heat that maybe they forgot how to play together as a team. They forgot how to win a game. Just simple as that, win a game. And we've talked about the problem of Paul George taking a lot of shots, and people complain about that. I mean, the one thing they have to do right now, I think, for them going into the postseason is really somebody has to emerge as a leader who's not going to get everybody to continue arguing, but pull them together as a team.
Yes. I think that's David West, to be honest.
There you go.
Because David West, they played OKC over the weekend.
Right.
And the Thunder wanted that game. That was a meaningful game. They could have got the 1 seed.
Right.
And the Pacers beat them, and David West was a big part of that. And David West being a veteran, solid, rock-hard guy.
Yeah.
He's the guy Pacers should rally around.
Yeah, because obviously so far Paul George hasn't been able to do it, and neither has Roy Hibbert. Because, people look at them, I mean, they have talent, but number one, Roy Hibbert is not playing well.
Yes.
And he's not leading as well because there's a way to, lead, and it seems like he's been part of the problem. And George, I don't know if he's still young. I don't know what it is, but I don't see him as that go-to leader to look to when your team is crumbling. Say, we're looking to Paul George.
It's his first year in the spotlight. You've been seeing him on commercials now.
That's true.
And Paul George is trying to handle fame, success at a young age, 4th year in the league.
That's true.
So
right, yeah.
Doing that, it's hard for him.
But to me, if the Pacers don't pull it together, they're going to lose very early in the playoffs. I think that they will, but I think that their run in the postseason is not going to be as long as that I originally thought it was going to be. I originally thought they were going to win it all. Mm-hmm. After seeing how their season has gone, especially down the stretch, no, I can't go with that anymore.
Wow.
Can't do it.
Wow.
But anyway, I have to explain why I'm taking the Nets as my wow team. I guess by wow, you picked the Bulls as a team that you said they have a real good shot to win it all.
And they like to get feisty in the playoffs.
Yeah. So I guess what Ben and I have picked is a team we want to watch because we think they're going to do well. And he picked the Bulls, and I picked the Nets. I picked the Nets because the Nets may not have all of the talent in the world. Listen, they have obviously a lot of talent in Pierce and Garnett, but they're
aging talent.
They're at the back end of their careers, exactly. So they're not as talented as they once were. And if you put their 5 up against, let's say, the Heat's 5 or the Pacers 5, you probably get a lot of people who will say, "I'll go with the Pacers," or "I'll go with the Heat."
Yes.
But to me, there's a chemistry to the Nets that between the production they get from Teletovic and Blotch and whoever's coming off the bench, and the way that Sean Livingston to me is like their unsung hero. He doesn't have all the glitz and glamour, but he is like the core and rock of that team.
Makes things happen.
Yeah, and then the talent factor between Darren Williams and of course the 3-point shooting with Joe Johnson, and have I left anybody out?
The emergence of Plumlee. Nobody thought Plumlee was going to have this good year.
Yes.
And coming down for Brook Lopez, Plumlee really stepped up.
Yes, exactly. Essential for somebody to try and fill those shoes. Done a great job. I don't see anything to complain about. I don't see any holes.
But as of today, the Nets and Bulls would face each other in the first round.
Isn't that interesting?
So hopefully by Saturday that is true, and we will talk about that series in later shows.
Absolutely. Should we move to the West?
North, South, East, West.
Here we go. Let's move to the West.
My wow team, or what are we trying to do?
I think we'll say it's a wow team. Yeah.
A wow team for the West for me. A lot of teams in the West this year. The West is more of a dominant conference over the East, a superior conference, you could say. I'm going with the Dallas Mavericks.
Good choice. Good choice. I like that choice. Dallas is great record this year. Now, would you say that when you pit them up against, let's say, someone like, or I should say compare them to somebody like San Antonio, maybe even the Clippers, would you say the Dallas Mavericks would be the underdog in that situation, or are you riding them as sort of a top seed or a favorite?
Being the 7th or 8th seed, they would be considered an underdog.
They would.
And they play like an underdog. Even though they have big names, Monte Ellis, Dirk Nowitzki, Jose Calderon, they're not as flashy as some of the players in the West, like Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook. But they're a scrappy team.
What I must say, though, is you bring up Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook for OKC. Sometimes, I know they have Serge Ibaka too, but sometimes it ends with Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook.
Russell.
Now, is that a problem? Not by any means, because you have 2 all-stars that can take a team and bring it all the way to the top.
Yes.
But sometimes you like to see a more balanced approach. You have players that sort of spread the wealth maybe a little bit more.
Yes.
And, you know, to me, I don't know. You can disagree if you want. I don't see any productivity out of OKC besides those 2 guys, Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook.
It might be different because Caron Butler, Derek Fisher, playoff times, they're more of a playoff player.
That's true.
So you don't know what they'll emerge.
That's true. Now, I mean, you know what my team's going to be, don't you? My WoW team?
Your WoW team.
You must know.
Remind me.
I love the Los Angeles Clippers.
The Los Angeles Clippers.
I love them. I mean, obviously, I love the Knicks, but you know, speaking in the sense of who would I love in this conference seeding going into the playoffs, I love the Clippers.
The Clippers.
To me, they have not only the flash and the talent, because Blake Griffin is one of the best players in the league. Chris Paul, not enough could be said about the way he ignites that team.
Yes.
DeAndre Jordan, they're so fun to watch. They have talent up and down the court. But besides that, I think they play well as a team. And the pickup of Granger really, I think, just added some icing to the cake. And I think that they play well as a team. They don't, they're solid and consistent. And because of that, they're my WoW team.
Don't forget, on the Los Angeles Clippers, they have Glenn Big Baby Davis, Jared Dudley, Jamal Crawford, J.J. Redick, and Darren Collison.
It's such a deep team. It's such a deep team.
Yes.
I mean, Redick holds down the 3-point line. I mean, you know,
everybody on that team can score. Well, not that I mentioned, except for Glenn Big Baby, but he's there for rebounds.
Exactly.
And don't forget Doc Rivers coaching the team.
Very good coach. Excellent coach.
NBA champion coach. And that's what he's trying to do with the Clippers.
Absolutely. So that's my team. And to me, if I look at everything here, the San Antonio Spurs, Ben has touched on before, their consistency, the way that they have been sort of under the radar, quietly performing to basically the better than any other team, but under the radar sometimes, that poses a threat.
They're the top seed in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
And they're under the radar?
Well, you have to, if you look at the NBA landscape, everything, not only the Western Conference, in that respect, you have, who comes to your mind first? At least for me, the Miami Heat and the Pacers come to my mind first.
Yes.
If you lay out the NBA landscape and say, who are our best teams? To me, if you had San Antonio, Miami, and Indiana, and, you know...
Not even best teams, notable teams.
Notable teams, yeah, exactly.
You'd have Boston, the Lakers.
Like high stature.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So... to me, San Antonio has had that spotlight, obviously.
Yes.
Because, I mean, they
got the rings.
They got the rings. But that's what I mean, where sometimes people start to fall asleep on you after you've won before.
Yes.
And when other teams emerge that, you know, maybe seem a little bit scarier, they'll look at the Heat and the Pacers maybe. But that's at least how it is for me. Because the Spurs, we know what they can do. But, you know, sometimes you fear teams like the Heat and Indiana who almost have the flash to win it.
Yes.
To me, the Spurs don't have the flash to win it.
Really? They have the players, but not the flash.
What I'm saying is that if you say, look at who they have: Tim Duncan, Tony Parker. We've talked about this
Ginobili.
before. Ginobili, Bellinelli, you know, Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi, I'm sorry. Did I say Kawhi last time?
Yeah.
It's a hard name to pronounce, Kawhi. If you look at that team, to me, right off the bat, Miami, to me, is more flashy.
Yes.
You know, they had the best player arguably in the game, LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, I mean, that's what I mean by flash. So the Spurs have been going to the same 2 guys year in and year out. Tony Parker, Tim Duncan. Tony Parker, Tim Duncan. They're not the most flashiest.
But they get it done.
But they get it done. So that's why I say that's why I say they're under the radar. That's what I meant by. I should have probably used different words.
It's all right. But today is the last day of the NBA regular season, and we have an important game.
Mm-hmm.
The Mavericks play the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
Now, this game, the Grizzlies, as of right now, are the 8th seed.
Yes.
As of right now, the Mavericks are the 7th seed.
Yes.
So if the Grizzlies win, they are the 7th seed. And if the Mavericks lose, they are the 8th seed. So seeding of matchup will be decided. Yep.
Makes a big difference. So who do you think is going to win this game?
I'm going to go with Dallas.
Obviously, because Dallas is your team.
Well, yep.
I mean,
I'll take Dallas. And we have some East controversy. Not controversy. The Nets might slip down to the 6th seed, and Washington would move up.
That's true.
And if Toronto loses and the Bulls win, the Bulls will be the 3rd seed.
Yeah.
So we have some matchup seedings.
Absolutely. So that, like we said before, there's time before we can actually analyze each game because the seedings aren't set yet. But so that's our take on basically what it looks like so far. Finishing
A little forecast, you could say.
A forecast. Yeah, I like that. 5-day forecast.
Yes.
Which we hope sun is in and heat.
And Pacers. and Grizzlies and
I didn't wait
and
a
all
second.
And all the teams.
I didn't realize I was talking about the real sun and heat.
Yeah, man.
And then I was like, wait.
You mentioned the sun.
That was smooth. Come on, you got to give that to me.
Yes. But you didn't notice it was smooth.
And some thunder.
But the Suns are not in the playoffs this year.
No, they're not.
They eclipsed over 45 wins, and they're not in the playoffs. So the Western Conference is the more dominant conference than the East, and the Suns have a bright future. You dig?
They do. Yeah, I got you. That I never realized how many teams have weather names.
Yes.
The Suns, the Thunder, the Heat. Well, on that note, I think we're going to take a break. We'll be back here on AB Conversation talking a little instant replay, so don't flip the dial.
New Orleans is my home. That's the reason why I'm gone. Yes, I'm walking to